You know, sitting here, thinking about what to play on the flute, despite the beauty around me, I was feeling a little creatively stuck for a moment and didn't know what to play. People often ask me about the Native American flutes, the cedar flute. What do you play? Do you play set melodies? But the tradition is that you don't. It comes from the heart of the cedar tree. And the idea is that the player is supposed to play whatever's in their heart. So often playing this instrument is a reminder to me that I need to stop and listen first before I respond, before I attempt something creative. Oftentimes in hospice music therapy work, I'll come into situations where there's a lot of stress and chaos. There might be pain, there might be breathing issues, there might be all of these things. Family drama, which does happen in those times. And there are moments, even after 25 years, where I still stop and think, what am I going to do? And then I remember the first thing I need to do is to listen. I sometimes mentor younger music therapists who may be in school, who may be training, even later on. And I always say one of my own mantras has always been, shut up and play. Just don't worry because you're not going to have the right words. You're not. And what should be part of that is quiet yourself, might be a better way to say that. Listen. And then play. Listen to the breathing of the patient. Listen to what's happening with families. And when you listen, I feel like your other senses really tune in too, including senses beyond what we might think of as our five senses. So sitting here in this beautiful place, it's starting to rain again. It's been kind of a rainy weekend. I am reminded of the importance and the power of listening. I think in this world right now, we spend a lot of time talking at each other, especially through social media, and not much time talking to each other. And a lot less time is spent listening. You know, there's often I see these debates come up online. Is there God? Is there not? Is there something divine? Um, bringing up the problems with other spiritual traditions, including Christianity. And those things are valid. But I think I was listening to a song by the church this morning that has the line, bowing down to worship some God who never talks to you. I wonder if that's odd. And then he says, I would probably say she says, you're never listening. God is not a magician. God is not someone who just picks and chooses, who gets hurt, who doesn't, who picks and chooses, who gets sick and who doesn't. And that is unfortunate, that we live in a world where many feel that God should do more. And you may not believe in a God, and that is okay too. But I think when we let go of certainty, the divine isn't limited to some book. The divine is not limited to one teaching. In fact, the divine may have very little semblance with what we have in our sacred stories. And a lot of our sacred stories have little bits. Some of them I think are pretty disconnected. But whenever I'm stuck, I find that it's important to listen first. Because see, I always hear the divine, whatever you might think that is, I hear it in the silence, in the quiet spaces. When I take time to breathe and to listen. And when I recognize that whatever the divine is, the divine shows itself in beauty. In so many ways. And yes, I do believe, as some of my beliefs are pantheist, that God is speaking to us and with us, the divine, whatever that is, through nature, through the universe. And I can't believe is disconnected from this universe. You see, because when we think about beauty, there's a famous Russian author, I can't remember his name, that talked about the idea that beauty will save us. Maybe that's the kind of salvation that people of faith actually need. To hear the holy and the birds and the loons, to learn to see the holy in each other, no matter how different we may be. And as we enter what many celebrate as Pride Month, it's a time for those of us who are allies to listen to the voices of that community. And maybe if you have some issue with LGBTQ people, maybe, just maybe, you could stop and listen and grow to see the beauty that's in all of us. One of the gifts of working with the dying process is you see, no matter how different we may be, there's a lot that connects us, and that we are all human beings going through this life in these bodies that are a lot more frail than we like to think. Life's too short not to stop and see the beauty in creation, the beauty in each other. We exist because stars die. Iron in our blood and other elements, that's where it comes from. And in a sense, we are, as I believe a Hindu prophet once said, we are the universe looking back at itself. We're made of stars. We're made in love. We're made in beauty. And when we listen, I think we do a lot better job of remembering that. So wherever you may be, as this video finds you, may you find peace this day. May you awaken and attune your senses to listen, to see. May we walk in beauty. Peace.